doing. Every large company eventually has to do this. They have to stop producing products and services where they're losing money. So in terms of profits, remember that net profit is the name of the game. That's what Baron de Rothschild said many years ago. Always focus on net profit. Not gross income, but the amount of money that you have left at the end of the day. What is your net profit? So really important. Okay, there are 4 keys, 4 thinking tools. Remember, you are knowledge workers, and the better you think, the better decisions you make. There's basically 4 keys to marketing strategy, and they've never changed. And if you're ever having problems in any form, in any area of marketing and sales, it's because of a problem in one of these 4 areas. And these are things that you think about. And by the way, these are things that you use to help your clients, because most clients have backed into their businesses and don't know these concepts. These concepts are very simple, but I've been astonished. I speak to Fortune 500 companies and they don't know about these concepts. Or, in many cases, they've stopped thinking about them. So number 1 is specialization. And specialization is the starting point of strategic marketing. Specialization means that you specialize rather than generalize. It means that you focus and concentrate. You hone in on your very best customers or your very best product and service. And there's 3 ways that you specialize. 1, you can specialize in a specific service. We could say a specific product or service. What many companies do is they find that the only way they can practice these is divide into divisions, where a particular division specializes in a specific product or service. You cannot be all things to all person. Or you can specialize in a particular industry. There are some people who specialize and all they do is work in a particular industry. But of course, the more you work in a particular industry, what happens? What happens? Go on. You get better and better and more knowledgeable in that industry. Some of the highest paid copywriters, people that get $50,000 for writing an advertising piece, I see them all the time, specialize in a specific industry. And people say, who's the best person in our industry? Well, it's this copywriter in New York, and they'll hire that copywriter and pay them anything because this copywriter has an intimate knowledge of the industry, and what he does is he adds on his specialized knowledge of that particular company and then creates copy that is worth a fortune. And here's the third, is a particular type of client. Particular type of client or customer or market. Like some people will say, I'm only going to work within the Florida area, or I'm only going to work within driving distance of my home. So they specialize in a market. I'm only going to work with this type of industry. They specialize in this industry. Because what the market pays for is expertise. They pay for you to be very, very good at what they do. There's nothing more effective. And I learned this, and Joe will tell you this, and Merrill will tell you this, the people in professional speaking. When you start off, a person calls up and says, can you speak on this subject? And you're trained to say, absolutely, I specialize in that area. And customers say, oh, really? Yes, that is my specialty. Customer service, selling, marketing, advertising, security concerns, data processing, whatever it is, that's my specialty. You know, we'll say anything to get a job when we're starting off. I know that doesn't apply to you, but so therefore specialization is the key. Now, let me ask you this question. What is the one word in selling, in business, in marketing, in your profession that more determines your sales, your level of income, your repeat business, your referrals, the home you live in, your standard of living, your house, your home, your car, the schools your family goes to, and whether you end up wealthy, financially successful, and retired in a beautiful home on the hill? What's the one word that determines all that? Can you guess? Pardon? Who said that? Credibility. You've been here before. Son of a gun. You're absolutely right. It's the most important single word in business is credibility. It's credibility. Now, Merrill, I'm sorry, Merrill? The gentleman that... Herschel. Herschel had his word. Oh, are you here, Herschel? Yes. His word was verisimilitude. Did you see that? Verisimilitude. What is that? It's another word for credibility. Is the truthfulness of what you say. So credibility is everything. Is people buy or not buy because of your credibility? Credibility means that they believe that if you make a promise, you can keep it. If you say that you will do such a thing, that you will do it on time, on schedule, and it will work. There is nothing that is more important than your credibility. And here's the rule with regard to credibility. It is this: everything counts. Everything counts. Everything counts. Everything that you do or don't do, everything that you do or fail to do, everything is a plus or a minus. Everything counts with regard to credibility. And when you specialize in a particular area, and you've done your homework in a particular area, and you're knowledgeable in a particular area, your credibility goes up. Here's an important point. Have you ever spoken to a client that says, well, leave it with me, let me think it over, and they don't hire you? Have you ever had this happen? Say yes. Of course, it'll happen all the time. Now, when you meet a prospect for the first time in business, because of what Herschel was saying, what Joe has said, other people have said, is the client's level of fear is very high. Has anybody here ever made a buying mistake? Of course. You've put out good money and you did not get what you were promised. You did not get the product or service, or it didn't work, or you found it better or cheaper somewhere else, or you couldn't get it serviced, and you were disappointed and you wished you'd never done it at all. You had that experience? Say yes. Okay, so what happens is every single person in our commercial market, Herschel was saying the average person is confronted with 3,000 ads a day. It may be 4,000 or 5,000 if you're living in a big city. What it means is that each person has made buying mistakes, and so therefore when they meet you for the first time, their fear level is very high. Their fear of making a mistake, paying too much, getting the wrong thing, being out the money, being disappointed once again, being left at the altar, being not respected in the morning. And your credibility is very low. So everything that you do from the moment of the first contact with that, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, the first contact affects this balance. It changes the balance one way or another. It either raises your credibility or lowers it. Now, as your credibility goes up, the fear goes down. As your credibility gets higher and higher, the fear gets lower and lower. And until it finally reaches the point where your credibility is so high, the person books you and pays you exactly what you asked for and is happy with your services. And everything counts. Every single customer contact, everything you do or don't do, every bit of preparation that you put in before you see a client. One of the things I tell my sales audience is I said, before you ever call on a corporate client, go to their website, download the whole website and read it from cover to cover and take notes. When you sit down with a client, you better know everything there is to know about that client that's publicly available. If you don't, then what you're doing is you're trying to con the client. And you know clients are very smart. Do you know how long it takes a client to know that you're not prepared? You know how long it takes? Within 30 seconds of their meeting, they know that you've done your homework or not. They know it instantly, and your credibility has either gone up or it's gone down. So one of the things I say to people, if you're going to call on a client who can use your services, go to the website, because every single client worthy of your services has a website. And what do people put on the front of their website? They put their best information. Their front page is their bragging page. Is this who we are, and this is what we do, and this is what we represent, and everything else. And when you walk in and say, boy, I'm impressed. I didn't realize you guys have been in business for 27 years. You have 233 people in 13 offices, and you're the #1 vendor of this product or service in this market area. Then, geez, where did you find that out? I said, I went to your website. You went to my website. Yes, it's a great website. I was really fascinated. And, of course, you went to the University of Wisconsin, and you're married to a woman named Susan, and you've got 2 kids, and one of your kids plays soccer. Where did you get that? It's in your bio in the website. I mean, it's... But when you walk in prepared, people, wow, what happens to your credibility? It goes straight through the roof. It's, how soon can you start? How soon can you start? Are you with me so far? But if you walk in, now here's what the idiots used to do. They walk in and say, well, what do you guys do here anyway? What's your best-selling product? What's your best-selling? The rule is this. In order for you to be a highly profitable personal services business, is you never ask a question, the answer to which is available somewhere else. Because it just shows complete lack of professionalism. After that, your credibility is shot. You can't make a second, you don't have a second chance to make a good first impression. Are you with me so far? So it's really important. Okay, so that's the first one, specialization and credibility. Now the second principle in strategic marketing is my favorite of all, and it's differentiation. And differentiation says, and basically the rule is all sales, all marketing is differentiating your product or service from that of others. Now lead generation just says, here is a product or service that will do, or that will give you this benefit. Anybody interested, they raise their hand. That doesn't mean that they'll buy it from you. It just means that they're interested in that benefit. Okay, now, your job in everything that you do is to differentiate yourself from anybody else who offers a similar product or service. Because when the customer starts off, as far as the customer is concerned, you're all the same. You're all the same. It's almost like you're Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So everything you do is to differentiate, which means that you have to be aware of 3 critical things. Number 1 is you have to ask yourself, what is your area of excellence? What is your area of excellence? Now, your area of excellence is where you are better than 90% of your competitors. One area of excellence can be you specialize in a particular industry and you have proven, demonstrated experience in that industry. So you have to ask yourself, where are you excellent? And here are the 2 really important words. Where could you be excellent? Where could you be excellent? Where should you be excellent if you want to be a big success? Can you accomplish this area of excellence overnight? No. Sometimes it takes many years. According to Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, it takes 7 to 11 years for a company to go from good to great. It's when but they are on their way the whole time. So what is your area of excellence today? If someone were to say to you in a meeting, in what way are you excellent in your business? What way are you better than 90% of your competitors? What would your answer be? And you have to be absolutely crystal clear about your answer, and you have to build all your marketing around it. Number two, in terms of differentiating, number one, is what is called your area of superiority. Now, your area of superiority is where you are superior to your competitors. It is something that you do or that you offer that makes you superior, that makes you better than anybody else who's offering it. Now, your area of superiority can be something as simple as the fact that you have a great personality and that you like the client and the client likes you. Or you have a connection with family, friends, or something else. It can be just you, the person. Or, ideally, it is the services that you offer. Your area of superiority is that you have more in-depth service you've done more, or experience. You've done more in-depth work in this particular product or service area than anybody else. Others generalize and you specialize. And then the third area, which Joe talked about and which Herschel talks about, is what is called your unique selling proposition. Now, since you are all wordsmiths and you understand words, what is the characteristic of unique that no other that makes it unique? What's the word I'm looking for? What's my mind? Not adverb, but adjective. What is the quality of the word of the adjective unique that makes it separate from any other word? Any other adjective? What is it? It's one of a kind. That's very important. In other words, it cannot be uniquer or more unique or less unique or better or anything else. It is only unique. It only means one. So when you ask what is your unique selling proposition, it means what is it that you offer that nobody else offers. You are unique. There's no one else that has the same thing. It is one and only. And you always have to have a one and only. And sometimes your one and only can be that you invest far more hours on a client's account. Sometimes your one and only could be that you live closer to the client. Sometimes your one and only could be that you have specialized knowledge and experience in an industry that most people who write copy don't have in that industry. But you have to know what it is, and that becomes the organizing principle of all of your marketing. You focus on where you're excellent, where you're superior, where you're unique. And if you don't have them, then the next question is, what could they be? What should they be? What could they be? And here is what could it be? What should it be? And sometimes it's something that's very obvious, something that jumps out at you. But there's a rule. Remember Jack Welch's rule? If you don't have competitive advantage, don't compete. If you don't have a unique selling proposition, you can't compete. You can't go into a market and be a Me Too person unless you just basically want to worry about money for the rest of your life. So here's the third key to marketing strategy, and the third key is segmentation. And segmentation means that you look at your market and you ask yourself, who is your target market? Based on your area of specialization, based on your unique selling proposition, your area of superiority, who's your target market? Even ask yourself, who is your ideal customer? If you could have any customer at all, who would be the very best customer? Who is your perfect customer? Who would be the perfect client for you? Now, the way that you do this is you say, based on what I specialize in and what I'm really good at, who are the clients who most appreciate and will most readily pay for what it is that I do better than anybody else in my area of specialization? So the word is, where can you add the most value? Where can you add the most value? And this is the key to creating wealth, add the most value. Which customers most appreciate what you offer? If, for example, I had problems with my left hip for a long time, and my kids used to I thought it was a muscular thing, so I took yoga and stretching and everything else, and my kids used to joke, and I would be walking along like this because my kids would walk along behind me going, and I'd catch them at it, and pretty soon people were saying, "Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I was doing physical therapy or physical training and so on. Finally, the guy said to me, he said, "You know, it may not be muscular, it may be a joint. You should go and see a specialist, an orthopedic specialist." I said, "Who would you suggest?" Well, he had a contact with a doctor at